Well, today we are so lucky to have Cody from AKS Engineering. Thought we'd just have a little conversation about some of the projects that have gone really, really well. I think our relationship started off in Lebanon. We did some things out there that I didn't think were possible. You probably didn't think they were possible either. We got them to the finish line. No sprinklers in a big building, which is stroke of luck. Another project that you did an amazing job is Woodburn. There was a couple projects that you've done some due diligence for us on that didn't end up going, and we appreciate you like pulling back the covers. Here's some challenges, vernal pools or something in Medford, and then we're going to do some stuff in Pasco, and that was a bit of a challenge. And then currently we're doing Delano, and you did an amazing job on that.
Thinking to the easy ones, probably the best thing that happened to us from a friendship, partnership, team was starting out with Lebanon. That was the easy one. That was the fun one. Everything that could have gone went right, from permitting standpoint, timing standpoint, to phasing your 1200C so that we could do a secondary building without a whole new 1200C getting put together there to support it. It went well. Closeout was easy. No frontage improvements, no secondary fire access, no sprinklers.
This is all music to my ears.
Yeah, which is awesome, because that one solidified partnership, solidified a relationship. Then you start getting into that trust component of, hey, let's look at some other sites together. Then we get into the mud. Then we get into Pasco, we get into Medford. Vernal pools. Had not heard of them before. We do natural resources in-house. I have to trust but verify something's actually real. I have a partner down in our Salem office that went down to Medford that did that site assessment. Vernal pools are a real thing. That site was underlain by a series of poor soils too, if you recall. So we would have had to do mitigation for the wetlands if it was approved. You have to do site alternatives analysis just to even convince the jurisdiction to allow you to fill those pools. And then if you were able to get over that hump, there's a sizable amount of money that would have gone into remediating that soil, either taking it out and getting down to good stuff or churning it up with some solidifiers. It would have been a lot of money.
It killed the deal.
Yes, it would have been a lot of money. Pasco, there's a lot that went into that one, but fire's a difficult standpoint. We're looking at an example like Lebanon where we didn't have to do sprinklers, no secondary fire access. Then you get into a place like Pasco, you're like, well, what the heck? How do we get through this then? Every jurisdiction's different. That's what I like about AKS, is just that we have done a project in every single jurisdiction. We kind of know that it's going to be different. Sometimes we get a good heads up of what they're going to allow. And that's where we're getting to the fun part of going to Woodburn. Good partner there, know the fire marshal well, reasonable. We don't have off-site water available. We're going to need to do it on-site. So we dream up the fire tank together. That's also good for advertising, right? If I'm recalling right, it's painted up nicely, has lights on it.
Yep.
But that's the only way that we were able to get fire access there. And that was a big leap of faith for you guys to take on that project, trust us to get you what you needed there. Because not only water, but from a sanitary standpoint, sanitary would probably have been the deal killer on that one. I mean,
there's a sewer line like a mile and a half or something.
Yeah, mile and a half away that you would have had to bring on site. You would have had to annex into the city to utilize city utilities. And then you have the county and city looking at each other. County saying, hey, city, are you going to require them to get annexed in and use city resources? You looking at the county saying, hey, can we do this on the site? County saying yes, city backing off, being able to do sanitary on site, which I think to a degree is a little challenging, right? Because you wanted to do a wash down. You don't have the same utilities to be able to promote something like that. Have the septic sewer approved through the county, having the water on site, utilizing a brand new well that was feeding it. I think you'll remember this one is that stormwater was a challenge. I mean, one of the other big cost things, once you got over the hump for getting through sanitary, pricing out a fire water tank, then you're looking at soil, because you had looked at other iterations of the site just to get it to gravity drain down would have been 9,000 cubic yards of dirt.
Wasn't it like not 6 feet or something? We had to raise it up 6 feet.
Yeah, it's not cheap, because it was, I mean, it's steep from the frontage all the way to the back there. And we're talking thousands of feet to get to the road frontage. And then I'm looking at it and saying, hey, I've worked in ODOT before too. And I know that ODOT does not want to take stormwater that was not previously going there. So that's also, hey, this is a risk. Like, you want to now bring it all to ODOT right away. It's not currently going there right now. We want to reduce the size of the pond because that's usable square footage. What are our options? Let's see if we got infiltration here. Luckily, we were able to get infiltration on that site that reduced square footage there. And then we looked at doing what I was inspired by Arizona development in large monsoon conditions, doing long stretches of trench so that we could run the entire site flat and then detain within those pipes to a degree before it hit the facility where it infiltrated. So we didn't need to bring on any dirt. We were damn near dead flat. That was a unique condition. And we have no frontage improvements besides the driveway. That was the smoothest ODOT permit that I've gone through, and it went through very well. We had a delicate balance of the political dance in the beginning, utility, practicality, earthwork. You've got great partners locally in Cornice, and the construction aspect of it, I mean, it went swimmingly.
Trust is a big thing. And we've worked with other engineers that have effed things up dramatically. And, I think for me, when I look at a plan, I don't see it. And then we had a project in California recently where the engineers had a grade of like 10% going into the units, which just does not work. I didn't see it. Fortunately, our GC caught it. I'm just grateful to have you as a partner because you guys see stuff like that we don't have to really think about it. And there's a trust. So one of my investors said the 3 T's: trust, transparency, and track record. We have trust. You're very transparent with us. You communicate, over communicate, which is great. And you have a track record of doing these projects and doing them, on time and on budget. And what I learned is the engineering firm in California, they may have been a bit cheaper, but we ended up paying way more than we would have. So as a lesson to us, don't step over dollar bills to pick up nickels. Work with someone that you trust, that can get you to the finish line. And right now we're working on a project in Delano. You did that one as well. It's super smooth and going really well. There were some challenges with some water and where to get the water and some drainage stuff.
And that's also a big trust in knowing that we can take on those challenges. I mean, we spend a lot of time up front together going through and outlining each of the potential headaches. We approach those with a really positive attitude that, hey, these are things that we can fix probably, and we're going to try. I mean, Delano, I think, echoes some of the past lessons or experiences that we had. I mean, we had a political battle of it being in the county. Can we get city utilities? Or is the city going to have jurisdiction to require us to come into the city or require us to utilize city resources? That was a dance. We got them to back down. That was months, though. If I were in your shoes, could have made me really uncomfortable. Like, what the heck are we doing here? We're spending money for months dancing with counselors and city and county staff. We got to the right spot. We got the best result you can get. Then when we start looking at the utility aspect of things, I mean, you got a pipe running through the middle of it and you're shaking your head at why can't we connect to it and put fire hydrants throughout, similar to the deal that we did in Woodburn. Didn't have that relationship with that local fire marshal, but widespread, those guys want to work with you. They want what's practical and what's going to work for their vehicles. We're a practical group. We understand what those type of partners need. Same deal. Fire tanks needs to have accesses. Fortunately, they need a secondary one because of how much square footage. That should have been required on the other developments we did together from a code perspective. They have the ability to make those exceptions and waive those if they want and can determine so. Got away with a really favorable interpretation of code in that jurisdiction. Kudos to those local partners that helped get us through it, from the county side to the fire marshal. Those are the guys that really championed the vision that we imparted and shared on them. And that's thing that we're really big on, and you trust that too, is like, hey, we're local partners from you all the way through the jurisdictions we work with. Like, those relationships are what's going to make the project successful. We build those relationships from start, pre-apps, conversations. We continually check in with them on trying to find positive solutions, memorialize them, and then we're working through them on the permitting side, and we know that permitting inside and out, and we nail it together, and they're completely in the loop. The communication aspects there, that's one of the most important things. They know where we're at, we know where we're at, you know where we're at. Everybody's bought in to what's happening and what's going to happen.
And I think from a developer's perspective, what I appreciate about you and AKS is you almost look at the sites and the projects from developers' perspective, and you don't just put it on paper and go, the water goes here to here and here, and you're a lot more creative and open to gray areas or being creative. We don't see that with some of the other folks that we've worked with in the past, so we really appreciate that.
Appreciate you saying that. It's something that definitely got raised on, which is, hey, there's someone putting in a significant investment in this. Not just you to work on this, but in it entirely. If you want to keep working together, you treat it like your own and make sure that's successful.
If this was your project, what would you do? And I trust that you give the answer, like, if it was your project, you would do this. And not everybody does that. So we got one more project to talk about, Baseline. That was one that we love. love. We love the market. We love the location, everything about it. There was a lot of challenges with that one that we didn't end up doing it. There was some wetland stuff. There was some floodplain stuff. We were trying to get it to the finish line right before something changed on the federal level. You were ahead of that. Like you had someone in your in-house. It was like, hey, this law is changing. You got to do, if you're going to do it, you need to do it like by this date.
Sure, there's a fun aspect to this one because we kicked it off putting together a layout with what we knew at that moment. Then we went to pre-app with the city. As of that day, the local jurisdictions were made aware of the FEMA lawsuit. That resulted in the determination they gave us can be challenges to develop within the floodplain and floodway, and that they were not going to be allowing map revisions until projecting to 2027. After that pre-app, I notified the entire company that that was coming down the pipeline. That saved a number of map revisions that we sent out at before midnight so that they could go through.
So that was a blessing.
It was a silver lining experience. There's also some fun aspects to that. Like outside of that specific item, floodplain's difficult regardless. A challenging part, and this is specific to the jurisdiction, city of Hillsborough, like every jurisdiction's different. So you got to be diligent in your code review. Like at face value, RV and boat storage is allowed. In the floodplain, it's allowed part of the year. From a city perspective, they're trying to protect developers, protect users. And so in those times that you would suspect having those 1% flood experiences, the usability of it. And we couldn't lift it out of the floodplain to avoid that because you couldn't get the map revision until 2027. So then you got to balance that perspective. And I like that we're collaborative on this and try to think about these items as like, can you bridge it? Like that doesn't make financial sense. Like, that's half the site that we're trying to look at lifting out of the floodplain. You can't wait till 2027 on the hunch that's when it's going to get fixed. It could be longer. That's a big gray area. And that's just floodplain. It also had the natural resource component. There's a creek running through there. You're going to be going through DSL, USACE, CWS permitting from a natural resource perspective to be within any of their buffers. On site was bisected by multiple easements with 20 plus foot sewer that needed to maintain access and avoid building over. No vernal pool. There's a railroad to the north that the county was building a new trail through. Access was a challenge. You can't place the fire access within the floodplain. The entire road frontage was in the floodplain.
As you started uncovering this, like challenge after challenge after challenge, we ended up just pulling the plug. And it's just too much.
Yeah, it was more of like uncovering skeletons and knowing that there's nothing you can do about it. These were not surmountable tasks. You could maybe do this in a few years. You're going to be limited to just this access, which at the volumes we're looking at would be a right in, right out, which isn't always favorable, especially from an RV, a couple miles before they could turn around on that main road. Great location, right? But great location for someone to then turn around 2 miles down the road if they miss it or have to go the other way. It was challenging from a lot of aspects.
Yeah. So for every site we look at, we kill some deals because of demand or pricing or construction. And then some deals get killed by your perspective from engineering, like just getting it to the finish line is going to be too much. So that's something that, we couldn't uncover a lot of those things you uncovered. So we're grateful to have you as a partner to help us pull back the sheets on some of these things that we don't see.
I feel fortunate from this aspect too, right? Like a lot of times you got to go to multiple places to have the professionals to bring in your traffic, your natural resources from a civil grading standpoint. Got that all in house. I can walk down the hallway and poke someone that's knowledgeable on that and get an answer to you that day.
Yeah.
That's the part that
speed is helpful, especially when you have 90-day due diligence. And like I tell everyone on the team, a week turns into a month just like that. So that speed that you're talking about is very, very helpful.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, thank you for taking the time and coming in and chatting about some of the projects. AKS is amazing. Love working with them. Thank you for all your help and support.
Appreciate you.